This weekend, comments from Chiefs owner Clark Hunt about the possibility of building a new stadium, perhaps even a dome stadium, and that has the Kansas legislature now moving to deploy a tool which has worked for it in the past.
Yeah, last-minute proposal to revise the Star Bonds. So Star Bonds help build Kansas Speedway, Children's Mercy Park. That comes as lawmakers near the end of their veto session. But they didn't name a team. Jacob Kittelstadt tonight's live in Topeka. He's been talking with lawmakers there where they say it's pretty fluid. So, Jake, pretty clear with the teams in play, Kansas definitely wants a seat at the table.
Well, Lauren, you're right about that because lawmakers over here in Topeka, they saw the results of that April 2nd election in Jackson County and felt a few different ways about it. A, they were worried that these teams could leave the general region area around here, but then B, they felt, well, hey, maybe Kansas has something to offer.
There are a lot of components.
One day left in the Kansas veto session, and lawmakers are still making moves. One plan, gutting stalled insurance legislation and replacing the bill with one that would incentivize teams like the Chiefs or the Royals to come over the state line. Representative Sean Tarwater, a Republican from Stillwell, says they don't want to lean back and watch what happens next.
Well, there may be a good chance that the Kansas City metropolitan area will lose one or both teams because of the tax vote that happened. Our target would be to bring one or both of them over, if we possibly could, to make sure that they stay in the metropolitan area for the next 30, 40 years.
The idea on the table, making Star Bonds more lucrative temporarily, luring a team with a stadium and collecting the state taxes and revenue from the assumed bump in activity.
Yeah, we're going to have to work very hard over the next year and a half.
I believe they made a statement that they're looking at all their options. We just want to be one of them, and we want to be the most lucrative option. We have not had any conversations with the teams, but just in the case, we want to make sure we have the right tools, and hopefully we'll get to a conference sometime today and make some changes to the Star Bond law to make it more amicable for them. There's already significant language for sports venues. For something this big, we're going to try to make a few changes and have them be temporary so that in the case that we can lure them over, we can. But that all is still being negotiated, and hopefully we'll have something by the end of the day. The goal is to get it done today.
So I was just in a committee meeting where leaders from the Senate and the House of Representatives looked at this new legislation. They didn't pass it out of that committee yet, but the day is still young. That could still happen later this evening ahead of tomorrow, John, which is the final day in this veto session here in Topeka.
Well, as we said, fast-tracking that legislation. Jacob Kittelstadt in Topeka. As we mentioned, Clark Hunt addressed the media over the weekend as part of the NFL draft, but most of the focus was on his remarks on a possible new stadium.
Yeah, the CEO and chairman told reporters the Chiefs are looking at all their options, saying that they were disappointed with how the April 2nd stadium vote turned out in Jackson County. Fox 4's Shannon Russo live downtown with more of his comments and how the Jackson County legislature is responding about the possibility of this Kansas move. Shannon?
Yeah, well, certainly they don't like thinking about that possibility of the Chiefs leaving. They want them to stay right where they're at, and that is here in Jackson County. But as you heard in that previous story, Kansas lawmakers are working very hard at this last minute, trying to pass that legislation, luring a team like the Chiefs over to the Sunflower State.
We're just going to have to be open-minded in how we approach this, and that may involve a new stadium, and it could be an open-air stadium or it could be a dome stadium.
The Chiefs have 6.5 years left on their lease at the Truman Sports Complex, meaning the clock is ticking on whether they stay and renovate Arrowhead or move out of state to a place like Kansas.
Now that they're openly talking about it, I think that's an opportunity for us to revisit, well, can Truman Sports Complex work, maybe post-2031?
On Saturday, Hunt said Arrowhead is definitely still an option, but that they will work independently from the Royals going forward.
We just need to work as quickly as possible. And that's not something that happens in weeks. It's months and years to find the right solution.
I think there can be an opportunity for a return to a ballot. I think voters do deserve to have their voices heard. And what I've heard and taken from that election is that they wanted more details. And so maybe we can get there.
And we did ask Abarca, you know, when would that next vote happen for voters in Jackson County to vote on separate ballot issues for the Chiefs and Royals? And John, he tells us that would be the August election, which is just 4 months away.